We're Peter and Mermaid, and we've come a long way since it was founded by Perry's grandfather, Peter, in 1983. Peter always believed that small batch fishing will not only nourish Asgard with its best selected fish, but it will also maintain and help keep our oceans vivid and keep the flora and fauna. While Peter has left our world, it has his ideals and stayed with us and remained present throughout every movement of our work. With every fish we catch, we want to bring a smile to the member of our towns, as it doesn't only bring the main business to the people in Asgard, but also brings a great and nourishing dish to families that we are devoted to. Which brings me to our mission statement. So we believe that a bad day of fishing is still better than a good day in the office, which is why we want to bring the freshest fish to the market, excel with dedication, and bring a smile to the faces of the customers and employees that put their trust in our company. So this is our team. We have Fabrizio, our PO, Roman, our CFO, myself as the CEO, Bravia as our VP, and Per as our FC. This is the town of Asgard where Peter and Mermaids was founded and where we still are located today. It is a small, quaint, and beautiful town with a modest population of 95 people. The marketplace is at the epicenter of Asgard, where the town meets to buy and sell goods.
Okay, so Peter and Mermaids and the town of Asgard go hand in hand pretty well together. Every weekend we gather everyone in the marketplace where we present people with the catch of the day so they can try out some fish, maybe buy some meals and stuff like that. By the way, all the 10% of our sales will go to a community center in our city, which is concentrated on charity support. After that, we have the faces of Peter and Mermaids, the workers who spend the most time with us. First, we have the Joshua, who joined us when he was 16 years old. He's a manager of one of our fleets. Next, we have Trevor, who joined us when he was 16 years old, and aka the Big Toe. He is the tallest of our team, and he takes the work on the ship. After this, we have Julia, who takes the responsibility of preparing food and fish in the marketplace. Next, we have Elizabeth, which manages the batches of the fish, and Oceania, that joined us recently. However, she took a big part in a conservation project.
Okay, so here we have the strategies we used on the 2 rounds we have of the Fishbanks Simulations. In the first round, we decided to have the biggest fleet we could, and this ended up giving us the best result we had, and we won the first round. On the second round, however, we chose a different strategy, as we wanted to collude with different teams and try to save fishes from dying in coast and deep waters. So here you can see for the first round, our fleet, the Arctic 3, had the best results in regard as fleet size, and this helped us with the ship market value being very high when we had a big ship fleet size. On the second round, however, we can see that the teams were way more disputing how they were doing, and this was because everyone was trying to fish all the seas that were in the sea. The observations we made were that in the coast, people chose not to fish there, only in the end of the simulation, because everyone was fishing deep waters, and when the fish started to become depleting from the deep oceans, everyone came to the coast and wanted to fish here. Here we can also see how the fish stock changed, and around the middle of the simulation is where we saw ships were decreasing in the deep waters, and we tried colluding with 2 or 3 different teams, but it didn't work as they continued to fish, and we can see that's what happened as all fish were depleted from the ocean.
As Fabrizio mentioned, in the first round we did the traditional capitalist approach, which actually gave us the best results, but that was also only due because It was only due because the fish only started decreasing in the very end of the simulation. Well, in the second round, we tried to collude with different teams once we saw that the fish populations are just decreasing. Well, but we didn't have a positive outcome, which is also the very best example of the tragedy of the commons, because everybody was just working out of their self-interest, and while some people adhere to our recommendation of staying away from fishing to try to rebalance the system of fish, others still went into the ocean and tried to maximize their profits.
For our stakeholder analysis matrix, we came up with this chart, and as you can see here, our stakeholders, it's our employees, our customers, government, competitors, and suppliers. So our employees depend on us for their livelihood, so we need to be providing them with our wages. Our customers, we need to give it to them so they can trade with it, so they can be feeded. Our government, so they can be regulating the fish industry overall. For our competitors, they highly depend on us. If we're doing well in the market, we're going to be having high market share, and that means they need to change their strategies to be able to be competitors again. And for our suppliers, we need good suppliers to be able to have and make good profit. Each one's role in the project is different. For our employees, they manage our fleets. For our customer, they purchase our products. For our governments, it's taxes and fines and regulating the fishing industry. For our competitors, they affect our pricing, our strategy. And lastly, our suppliers, they provide us with the equipment such as the machinery and the boats. There's two questions that we were thinking about. So, are these stakeholders marginalized? So for our employees, yes, they are, because if our employees leave us, we're going to be in trouble because we're going to need them to continue our business. Our customers, we need them to buy our products. If we stop having people buying our products, we're going to be in trouble. For our government, it also affects us because if they keep doing a lot of regulations and put a quota and stuff, it's going to make it harder. For our competitors also, because if they've been doing very good and if they have been having good marketing strategies and market shares, that's going to affect us. And lastly, our suppliers, if they don't have good suppliers, that means we still can buy from anywhere else, from like the banks or any other place.
And then we also thought about how they played a role in our operations of business. We thought that the employees actually played a very key role in our operation, because without our employees, we would definitely not be able to operate the business. And they are also very, very much affected by our business, because if we don't perform well, they don't get the wage, they don't get money to get the food on the table. Our customers and the people of the town, they are also key, because obviously they have to buy our products, but they are also the part of the community that we, in our mission statement, devoted to serve. The government, we said no, because as we've seen with the tragedy of the commons, people just acted out of their self-interest, and because the government didn't regulate anything, they haven't really played a key role, but we're going to get back to this in the recommendation part. Then our competitors, we chose yes. They are key, because if they decide to overfish, well, it's also going to affect us, because if there's no fish in the waters, we can't get the fish out of the waters and bring them to the town. And then the suppliers, obviously yes, because if we buy boats from them and the boat value goes down, they're going to make less money, and yeah.
So here's our stakeholder analysis grid. We can see that competitors and the fish population have the huge influence on us, and they highly impact our business. However, on the other side, we have our employees who also have a big impact on us, but they don't influence us as well, because we can always change our employees. Our customers, they impact us, but they can't have that much influence on us. It's pretty high, but not too high, because we still can have customers. If not in this town, we can have it in another town. For our suppliers, they do impact us, but they don't have that much influence as well, because if they don't provide us with the equipment, we can always research for other places to have other equipments. And our government, they don't have that much influence on us in this case, because they were not regulating the fish industry overall. And this leads us to our next slide, which we're going to be talking about our recommendations to regulate this business.
Exactly, and as Rabia mentioned, we thought about putting the government away from this low influence zone up to a zone of more influence over the fishing industry. And how to do that? We thought that maybe there should be an interplay between the government and specific technology that can be used to detect whether the fish population is healthy or whether it needs to be left alone for a while. So we thought that while the government can impose regulations on fishing firms, they should, because once the detectors that the government can use detects that the fish population gets unhealthy, they can basically put in fines and quotas on how many fishes the fishing industries are allowed to take out to keep the population very healthy. And we also considered the topic of privatization, but we didn't think it would make too much sense, because simply privatizing specific areas of the ocean is very tough, because they don't belong to any specific country in that way. And also saying that we believe the best solution is that the government should definitely impose regulations and fines on companies that decide to go against the overall health of the ocean. And with that, we want to thank you for listening. And this is the team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.